Well, President Putin is meanwhile tightening his grip on the Ukrainian territory that Russia partially controls as Ukraine continues to take back more ground on the battlefield. Russia's leader has declared martial law in 4 areas illegally annexed by Moscow last month, giving extra powers to proxies installed by the Kremlin. Those regions are Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson and Zaporizhia. The move comes as Ukrainian forces close in on the key city of Kherson, occupied by Russia since the start of this war, as Russian officials start to evacuate civilians from there. The general, who's now in charge of Russia's invasion, admits his forces are facing what he called a difficult situation. Our correspondent Jonathan Beale is on the front line in Donbass, and a warning, his report contains distressing images.
The road of retreat. A dead end for some, where these Russian forces met their own Armageddon. The carcasses of tanks, armoured vehicles, and bloated dead bodies scatter the ground of the recently liberated East. A village now the new front line for these Ukrainian troops. Still within range of Russian artillery, the signature sound of this war. Russian positions are just 500 meters away. You can see they're telling us to get down here. Come on, let's go. But this war also involves close quarters combat, as we're about to find out. Okay, let's get down. Okay. A grenade's fired into the tree line from where the Russians were firing. As we make a speedy exit. Let's get out. Let's get out. Okay. Okay. We're getting out of here.
Нормально, контакт.
They just came under some small arms fire, probably from a Russian scouting party. So they've been telling us to get out of here, back to the main headquarters. Russian forces have been trying to outflank them. Many of these troops only volunteered at the start of the war. Months of fighting has transformed them into a professional army. But these counterattacks are slowing their advance.
They come at us like cannon fodder. That is their strategy. As soon as we open fire on them, they retreat. But we need more armor to continue the assault. And we are waiting for reinforcements so that we can move forward.
This National Guard units received little Western military aid, but their commander proudly shows us some of the Russian weapons they've captured. Colonel Yuri Bereza tells me his soldiers only had machine guns to start with. Now he says they've got practically new Russian tanks. Putin, he says, is already working for us. The West needs to catch up. But Ukraine's advance doesn't just depend on equipment. It's about logistics too. The push east is testing supply lines. With most bridges blown, it's had to rely on amphibious vehicles and boats to keep feeding the front line. Ukrainian military engineers have been rushing to rebuild these lifelines. They've just completed the construction of this crossing.
I think this is one of the most important priorities, the material support of our troops. This is war. We are not fighting with sticks here. Weapons need bullets.
Ukraine aims to continue its offensive, but there are still many obstacles in the way, including countless minefields laid by the Russians. This unit's already lost men trying to clear them. And while Russia's army has been battered, it's still standing in their way. Jonathan Beale, BBC News, Donbass.